Hello, Teaching and Learning is here to help explain how to fill out the report cards for your students. You will want to have your gradebook open so you can pause the video and follow along as we cover various parts of the report card. So when you log into your Unified Classroom dashboard, this is an example of what you would see. You're going to want to first change this Y1 to Q1. Then you're going to want to go over to Grading, click on Gradings, click on Grades. In your homeroom, period 1A, this is where you'll want to enter in any of your comments for the student. So I'm in kindergarten, so that's K. TC stands for teacher comment. So you would click in here, and then you would just go ahead and type in the comment in this box down here on the left, and you'd go from student to student. When we go ahead and get into specific things, we're going to go ahead and talk about changing from your homeroom into the specific content areas. So for math, we're looking at the section of your report card that says Mathematics Development. And you will see K, kindergarten, MA stand for math, and this would be your report card standard 1, sorting and classifying. As you click in that, that's where you would enter in 1, 2, 3, or 4. And you do that again for the next few standards. So you might say, well, which one is which one? What code does this stand for? So as I click in this cell, you'll see what is that name, sorting, classifying, as well as if I hover over it, you'll see it says sorting and classifying. And again, these are the items that are right below mathematics development and where it says demonstrating an understanding of. And it'll go patterning. Again, you'll click in there and you'll enter 1, 2, 3, or 4. Now moving from math, I click on here. Let's go over to look at reading. So in reading, it pops open, and again, these report card standards align to on your report card as stages of reading. So again, this first standard here, KLAR1, would be identified as emergent, or pre-emergent, sorry, and I'd put an X there if that student is falling in as pre-emergent. If he was emergent, I would put an X here. If he was developing, I'd put an X there. Or if they are fluent, I'd put an X there. And again, you can see all of these headings that I'm talking about right here, or if I hovered over. This would be pre-emergent, emergent, developing, and then fluent. And then here shows growth in letter recognition. This is where I'd put this would be a 1, 2, 3, or 4, and these, so this is where developing basic concepts of print, 1, 2, 3, 4. These should be 1 through 4. These two indicators here, these two standards for the report card need to be updated, but I just wanted to point that out, that you'll see a 1, 2, 3, or 4 in these. And again, this is kindergarten in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and you'll see me demonstrate an upper L here in a few and for 3rd grade, so you can see what that looks like. Moving from reading over into social studies and science. For kindergarten, they have these two indicators: show understanding of basic concepts and participates in class discussion activities. This is again where you plug in 1, 2, 3, or 4 for both of these, and they follow into that segment that says social studies and science, and would be putting a 1, 2, 3, or 4 in those boxes. All right, now let's move on to the other side, where we're going to talk about social development. So I click on social development and I come over here, and again, these are those report card standards that if I hover over, respects authority, respects rights, feelings, and properties of others, exercises appropriateness. So again, I just click in this area and I plug in 1, 2, 3, or 4 for Q1, and that would fill in on the report card. All right. From there, let's move over to work habits. In work habits, I do the same thing. Listen and follow individual directions. Again, if I click on that, it shows right there, listens to and follows individual directions. And I'll plug 1, 2, 3, or 4. And again, here are all these indicators that align up with work habits. There's more showing here. Again, that might be because it's a kindergartner than the one that I'm looking at for first grade that has a few less. But again, this lines right up with that, and this will go ahead and support. So on the report card where it says coming back full circle, so I just walked through the idea of the whole report card, and I want to come back and follow back. Where would I put in that Q1 comment? If I go to Q1 comment, I want that little comment to show up on the report cards. I'm going to go back to their home period, and I would type it in on this one right here, where I would type right there, and it pulls over. Okay, and to ensure that it's there, if you want to make sure that that shows up, you can also go right here to traditional. Nope, I'm sorry. You're just going to stick right there on standards, and that's where it's going to plug in for their comments. Right there, you type it in. We're going to go ahead and move into upper elementary, and we're going to look at third grade for the same scenario. Okay, so here I am in a third grade classroom setting where we can go ahead and log into our unified classroom. I'm at the dashboard, and again, we have to make sure that we change from year 1 to Q1 because that's our first quarter report card that we're trying to do. I go from grading into grades, and I'm right here waiting for PowerSchool to load, and I'm sitting here in the homeroom class, and I want to add comments for the student. First thing I do is change this from traditional Q1 to standards, and I will go ahead. This is for placement level. We're not going to talk about that. We're talking about the comment that we need to get plugged in onto that report card. So this is where you'd click the student, and you'd start typing in a comment for that student, and you'd save it. Okay, so from here, let's go ahead and move out of the homeroom, and let's go ahead and just work our way across the different periods, grouping, whatever. So let's go ahead and just look at the math. All right, so here in math, we're going to go ahead and see that their letter grade is already populated here. And then these are the indicators for those grade book standards that would show up under mathematics. Okay? And so one of those things that you would go ahead and, again, if I click right here, we see that it completes assignment on time. These are those report card standards that show up that you need to go ahead and put an X next to. Okay? Would put an X next to memorizes basic facts. Okay? Computes accurately. Computation, plus or minus. Okay? Computation, multiplying, dividing, uses problem solving skills, all the way down to here, applies calculator skills. As soon as you see that this S3, that tells you that you're now getting out of the standard report card standards that are going to show up on the report card. Okay, these are your math standards for grade 3, but these are your teacher comments, or teacher standards that are going to go into the grade book report card. So again, G3 stands for grade 3. If I was in 4th grade, it would be G4 MA1. If it was 5th grade, it would be G5 MA1. And again, if I hover over, I can see it without having to click in there. So I see that I have completes assignment on time. Again, just hovering over shows me those values as well. Okay, so let's move out of mathematics and go to science. Okay, so here are those. Their letter grade shows up, and then we can see these are those comments, standards that are going to want to be put in there. From here, let's go over to written communication. In written communication, again, here are your report card standards that are going to show up under the area of written communication. Completes assignments on time. Again, I'm going to click here. They either do it, they don't do it. You're going to have an X. Okay. And you're going to do that for each one of these areas, right? These are the standards that are on the report card that you're marking. And again, if you're having all students that say, hey, you know, all students, or almost the majority of your entire class does that, you're going to go ahead and click that, click the X, and then fill down, and you'll be good. So again, I just want to point that out, right? I click on the student, I click X, and I'll fill it, and then I'll go through and say, you know, I just delete this one and remove it just by using the delete key on your keyboard, and it would be removed. So if I put that X there and then I want to go ahead and delete it, remove it, that's the same way. So again, I put that X in there, put that X, and then I can go ahead and delete it by this, and I can move on, right? So let's move on out of written communication, go to social studies. All right, so just to go ahead and show you when I typed in X, if I want to undo, this is the undo button, or remove it, and that works as well. We can move out of social studies, go into spelling. Go into spelling. We can see here are those report card standards for spelling: completes assignments on time, assign words correctly, applies skills in all subjects. Again, you click on it, they're either doing it or they're not doing it. Moving out of spelling into reading, again, we'll see these items here. Again, you'll be putting slash marks as indicators for these areas. So this is asking for their dependent reader, progressing, independent. Okay, so you're going to be putting a slash mark in one of these three categories for reading, and then you're going to be talking about these areas as being efficient or not by using the X mark in those report card standards. And again, you can see that the standard on the report card comes up as complete assignments on time. If I hover over it, it also shows it. All right, moving out of reading, going into handwriting, we can see forms letter correctly, spaces appropriately, apply skills in all subjects, right? We can see all of this information right here, very easy to do. Moving out of handwriting, okay, so in grades 3 through 6, students are assigned to citizenship. an overall citizenship. So this is where you do their citizenship for those students. So as we're in citizenship again, hover right over it, and you can go ahead and give them a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 score, okay, for each of these areas that we're talking about. Changing out of citizenship, you can go into work habits. Again, these are the same items that show up on their report card, so these are the report card standards that you're trying to fill in. And we can say attentive to instruction, and again, this is where you're going to put the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Anytime that you come in here and you're not sure exactly where you're at and you don't see these standards, that probably is because you are in a traditional and you need to get out of traditional and into standards, and then once you plug these in, these will automatically populate into the student's report card. Hope this helps.